you're go for landing, over.
The exploration of space will go ahead, whether we join in it or not.
We have been given the scientific knowledge, the technical ability, and the materials to pursue the exploration of the universe.
We are the dreamers, the limit pushers, the explorers, the ones who see things differently. As commercial space exploration evolves, Stellar Access welcomes each partnership, elevating every space enthusiast to reach for the stars and igniting the industry's forward thinkers, desiring to grasp a piece of the universe. We empower our suppliers and providers, backed with over 40 years of solutions, to journey beyond the bounds of Earth, propelling their brand, making space available for you. This is just the beginning. Join us as we bring space to your neighborhood.
Hi everyone, my name is Ana Cristina Olvera. I am so excited to see you all here. I'm very happy I see some familiar names with us today, and I want to welcome you to our Stellar Talks. This is a series of webinars that we are preparing and that we are sharing with you to get you the best knowledge to either you are an experienced professional in space with an experienced company, or you're just joining this buoyant commercial space ecosystem. We want to bring you the most interesting talks to this webinar series. So today we have prepared a very interesting topic that is about one of our stellar services at Stellar Access. And we're very excited to share more details about this offering with you. I'm going to be here with you to guide you through this webinar, but of course our guest speaker is going to give you all the information. So let me introduce a very special person. You know, some of you know Sergio Lucero, who is our COO and at Stellar Access, and he has a lot of experience in this field. He's an aerospace engineer. He has a master in systems engineering and a lot of experience, over 20 years of experience throughout many projects like the ISS research team, the Orion launch systems, and some other groundbreaking technology demonstration vehicles. And he's engaging with all this knowledge in this new adventure, which is Stellar Access and which is DISTILL. Sergio, welcome.
Thank you, Ana Cristina. Thank you for that introduction. And yes, as Eric pointed out, I'm Sergio Lucero, not Eric Lopez. Eric had the fortunate. He presented our last webinar, so obviously his name is still there. But yeah, welcome everybody. My name is Sergio Lucero. A lot of you, I think, on the call know me already from my previous role at NASA. But I'm here to talk to you about an exciting venture, innovation center that we are getting started at the Houston Spaceport, right here in our backyard here in Houston, down the street from NASA Johnson Space Center. So I want to give you an opportunity to know what we're doing there and ask some questions. And we'll get started here as other people join in and maybe pick up where we are and have them engaged as well. And our hope is that you can provide your insight as to what it is that resonates with you from a space commercialization standpoint, from a space commerce standpoint, and also distribute this information to your colleagues, to your network. So let's get started. Thank you, Phil. So our innovation center is called DISTILL. DISTILL is, we are distilling terrestrial ideas for the application of space, either commercially, technologically. We want to definitely use that knowledge base to spur an economy in LEO, in low Earth orbit, and on the moon. Of course, mentioned that I'm the CEO of the company, and Cesar Gonzalez is a CEO of Stellar Access, and we're both very involved in making sure that we propel DISTILL forward. So what is DISTILL? DISTILL is an innovation hub. Like I mentioned, right here in the backyard, we are developing a commercial space ecosystem in this thriving commercial economy that NASA's building, that the industry's building. We are located just down the street from Space Center Drive, essentially. A lot of you on the call, I think, know where that is. We are right at the hub where Axiom Space, Intuitive Machines, Collins, obviously Barrios is here as well. San Jack is here. The Neutral Buoyancy Lab is here. We are right smack in the middle at the heart of the space commercialization investments. And this is where we want to be to spur this economy. So what is our mission? Our mission is to proactively connect partners and members for success in space. What does that mean? Well, our partners are definitely those individuals that are, coming into the industry. They're brand new or have been established here for a long time. And our members are anyone that we want to invite into the ecosystem. Again, existing members, existing companies that have been working with us for a long time, or new industries. And how are we going to do that? Well, our objective is to build a community of resources that it will extend beyond the walls of the Innovation Center. The Innovation Center is not that big here to begin with. We anticipate that it's going to grow. But in the meantime, we want to capture all the resources, the assets, the equipment, anything, the knowledge base, anything that the industry has available for us to build this space ecosystem. We want to capture it in one place so that we enable access to space for all. And on the next slides, I'll show you how we're going to do that. Our offerings for DISTILL are quite a few, quite honestly. I'm going to summarize these and then pause for a minute, and then we'll get into essentially the layout of the facility so you all can get a better view and better picture of what we're offering here. Right at the top, we want to have a tech lab space. And this space is to allow for companies to have an opportunity to either bring their own equipment or use equipment that is provided to them to be able to either test their hardware, improve their hardware, build new hardware, build new ideas, and put those to work in the space ecosystem. We either want to provide that at our facility at DISTILL or through one of our member facilities. Either, NASA has a lot of facilities, of course. Axiom Space has themselves a whole new building where they have facilities and equipment. Colleges like San Jacinto right next door, they have a lot of equipment as well, and we want to be able to offer all of that to our partners through the DISTILL ecosystem. We also want to offer different spaces, collaboration spaces, tenant offices, event spaces, all ways of collaborating, of engaging each other so that we can share ideas, so that we can incubate those ideas into actual either companies or into actual solutions for what our industry is facing right now. And then along with that, we want to have programs that convey these ideas, either industry partner programs. By industry partners, I mean NASA programs, Axiom programs, even our own company, Stellar Access programs, and Barrios programs that provide a foundation for what are the challenges that we are facing as we develop the space ecosystem, and then invite discussion around these ideas or these topics. We want to engage the community and have them be part of the Innovation Center by bringing in their students, by bringing in programs, K-12 programs, by just engaging in some way and building our workforce, our existing workforce, our future workforce, so that we continue to develop the industry. We want to have a Protostar program, which is really an incubation program that allows for, like I mentioned earlier, the incubation of ideas into bona fide, companies or organizations that are part of the space commerce ecosystem. And then a couple of things we want to offer is a storage area for hardware, for payloads. One of the things we've seen a lot from our potential clients and partners is that whenever they travel into Houston, they want to be able to have a secure place where they maintain or where they keep their hardware so that they don't have to lug it around with them everywhere or store it at the safe at the hotel room. They're able to actually secure it safely before they actually take it to their partner company to get tested out. And then our signature offering, this Pro Exchange platform, is a platform where we're going to capture all these assets that I mentioned earlier in one digital system that allows for easy collaboration, easy access, and easy reservation of these systems, so that it's a one-stop shop. You can go in there and click on whatever equipment or whatever lab space you need and make your reservation right then and there in the system. And I'll talk more about that as we get into the facility layout, and so you all can see how that works. So yes, at this point, we want to give a chance to have you all ask some questions, give us some feedback about what you've heard so far. We do have more information about what the facility looks like and how all these offerings are going to be provided to our members within the facility. So we'll get going on that in a minute, but let's open it up.
Yeah, I know this looks like a lot of information, Sergio. A lot of offerings are going on in the still. Very interesting. We're going to the library, services, technical services, to more of building the community around the space industry. So while we wait for some questions from the audience that I'm sure they are just like bubbling with information and questions, I would like to ask you, I know Houston is the space city per excellence, because that's where the Apollo and all these other missions were born. And for the people that do not live in Houston, like me, when you go there and you really experience what a space city looks like, and what are the reactions that you've been getting when you pitch this idea to some companies and to some groups that are outside from Houston, like having the opportunity to have a presence there?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of excitement in what we're doing here. If you have not been to the Houston Spaceport, just driving to the spaceport, seeing the buildings come up. We had a couple groundbreakings here towards the end of last year, 2023, with Intuitive Machines and with Axiom, and the excitement is really palpable. You can sense that there's something brewing here that is beyond what we've been used to in the past. Houston, at least when it comes to space, has been traditionally known for operating operating systems, operating the space shuttle, operating the ISS, operating those systems that have afforded us the access to space, to LEO and the moon and so on. We haven't really been a manufacturing city for the space ecosystem, and that's where we want to be. Axiom just opened their facility, and they have a huge facility there where they're going to be building hardware, integrating hardware. Intuitive Machines is building the lunar lander there. Collins and other companies are building spacesuits around here. We're obviously here at Stellar Access trying to bring all those industries together. The goal is to really have this 440-acre campus be transformed into a manufacturing center for anything space-related, especially human space-related, as we build this ecosystem here in the area.
So we have a question from Benjamin, and he wants to know, for a listener such as himself, an individual contractor at NASA JSC, what specific things could someone like him do to tie into the innovation hub himself or to help promote the goals of DISTILL in a broader way?
That's a good question, Ben, and thank you for providing that question. We have been focused a lot on companies and having companies come in and be part of our ecosystem, but individuals like yourself play a big role as well. For one, part of this webinar is for you to gather information about what we're doing so that you can disseminate it to your colleagues, you can disseminate it to your networks, put it out in your social media, get the information out there about what we're trying to do here. And then once we get established with what we're doing at the center, we're going to have activities, we're going to have events that are open to the community and are open to not only the community, the educational community and those individuals that are going to build a workforce of the future, but also our established community, the individuals that are already part of space. We're going to blast out information so that not only the ones that are working at DISTILL or the ones that are working to build the Innovation Center can have access, but people like yourself that are part of the industry can also come over and be able to partake in what's going on there at the Innovation Center. So you'll definitely hear more about that from us, and our great communications team will be putting out all that information once we get going with the Innovation Center.
Having a hub that unites all the space community and brings it together is already quite unique, but I would like you to go a little bit deeper into the Pro Exchange tool, because I think that's a very unique feature of DISTILL, and I think it would be very interesting for our audience to learn a little bit more about this.
Yeah, I will touch on it again, but in the next slides, when we get into the facility layout, there is one section in there where I like to actually focus on Pro Exchange. Essentially, if you think about, a platform like, Airbnb or one of those platforms where you can go in and reserve space for you to do something, right? That's what we're trying to build with Pro Exchange, but from a more technical aspect. So as you come in, we want to be able to have Pro Exchange. All the members of our platform have provided their assets, provided their lab spaces, provided anything that is needed, or anything they want to rent out or provide for the community. And it's essentially listed or part of our database so that if a company comes in and says, I want to use a thermal vac chamber, or I want to use, a machine shop, or a lathe, or something, anything that requires that they may need for their service or their product, then they can go in and search for that information right then and there, and even make the reservation to be able to use that. So again, as an extension of our community, we want to be able to provide the opportunity for our members or anybody who's looking for assets to go into our Pro Exchange platform and look for what they need, and then actually utilize that asset at that location, not necessarily at our DISTILL Innovation Center, but at that location. We definitely don't want to replicate anything other innovation centers. For those of you familiar with the ION up in town or the Canon, those are excellent innovation centers that provide great assets and great resources for companies that are building their startups and their companies as well. We don't want to replicate any of that. Actually, we've teamed up with the ION, and we've talked to them about if somebody comes in and wants to use some of the facilities over there, sending them over there as opposed to replicating something that they already offer there down here at Innovation Center. So I'll get into more specifics here in the next slides.
Well, I think if anyone has more questions, we're going to have another Q&A session at the end of the webinar. But right now, we can move on with the rest of the topics. What do you think?
Thank you, Ana Cristina. So, as I mentioned earlier, and hopefully you all can, this will clear up in a minute. It's a little blurry on my end, but as we look at how this facility is going to be outfitted, essentially, like I mentioned earlier, it's a 10,000 square foot space. that will have a lot of the assets that I described earlier, and it's going to look something like this. If we go to the next slide, we can see what that layout will look like. This is just a rendition of what we anticipate some of the spaces to look like. We definitely want to convey a more futuristic, a more forward-thinking approach to space access. We want to have an opportunity for people to come into the space and be able to look like they're in a futuristic place, right? That we're moving forward with space commerce and have the facility reflect that. We want to have conference rooms like the ones shown here, and definitely we have a partnership wall, so anybody who's a member of ours can be displayed there, and then the community can know who is participating and who is contributing to our ecosystem here. As for the facility itself, it is there at the Collins building. We have preliminary plans to outfit it in this manner. So the first thing is over on the right-hand side, right there where the collaboration space pop-up came up. There's an entryway right at the L1 designator there. And so as you enter, we want to have the ability for to look to your right and left and be able to look at a collaboration area where you can feel at home. You can feel like you can actually engage your fellow aerospace enthusiast and use that opportunity to formulate those relationships at any of these spaces, collaboration spaces we have. We also want those collaboration spaces to open up to other industries. We've been talking to industries such as the arts and entertainment, the music, and have these areas be almost studios, like art studios, where artists can showcase their art, their sculptures. We want to bring those industries into our ecosystem and have our technical folks obviously participate in those ecosystems as well. So again, this is part of what Stellar Access's goal is to bring space to everybody, which includes those other industries. This is the Pro Exchange board that I talked about earlier. And again, it looks a little blurry, but I'll walk everybody through this here. This is, as you walk in as a member, essentially you'll get a swipe or an RFID badge or some sort of a designator to where as you swipe our board here, we're anticipating a head-to-toe board that identifies you as, I know Ben asked the question earlier, welcome Bamboos. Thank you for being part of our community and for coming this week or this day. Here is your itinerary. Have you shared it with us for the week? And given your profile that you also shared with us, here are companies within our facility that are sharing that profile and you may want to talk to. These companies are going to be here this week. They're available at this time. It pops up a conference room. It pops up their availability, their email, and you can write that in their touch screen and schedule a discussion with them so you can have a more proactive way of collaborating with them. As I mentioned earlier, we also want to have this platform display all the assets that are available to you. So Ben, if you come in and say, hey, I want machine X, I want to use this machine to do something with my product, then it'll display, all the opportunities for you to be able to use that machine, whether it's at right here in our own center or across the street at San Jacinto College or down the street at College of the Mainland or University of Houston Clear Lake or with NASA. It'll come up and it'll show you what the availability is so you can reserve it right then and there. And then another nice feature that we want to implement is being able to connect you with future events like conferences, so that even if you're here in Houston at the time, but SpaceCom is coming up next week, a window will pop up and say, have you considered attending SpaceCom? A lot of the companies that are here that you're meeting with are going to be there. That's another opportunity for you to collaborate with them. So that's a way of having a proactive exchange and collaboration with our members. A next area that we want to provide is this product showcase. One of the things that we've seen as we've traveled conferences and around the country talking to potential companies that want to be in our ecosystem as Stellar Access is that these companies oftentimes can only showcase their products, their research platforms at conferences. So as for those of you who've been to ISSR&D, at ISSR&D, you see all these platforms and companies that have been working with NASA and have these platforms up in ISS. Obviously, that's a great venue for them to do that. And we want to be able for that provide an opportunity for them to showcase their products year round and showcase here in this ecosystem, right? Where we're going to have people coming in and out of our facility and having them be engaged with what is available out there, what research platforms or even products that can be transformed into more commercial endeavors. What are those products that are available, and have this product showcase area to be able to have those member companies showcase their products to the Axioms, the NASAs, and to the machines, those major space access providers. We want to have a Lunar Lounge networking area that allows for the space to be utilized in a more collaborative way, either during breaks at lunches or have happy hours there. This is the area also where we would invite our community to bring in their workforce and bring in their employees to have an evening, happy hour or gathering, or bring in the students to have a STEM engagement. This is what the Lunar Lounge networking area would provide. We definitely want to have a presentation stage where we have discussions about topics, either by various companies or issues, or just an opportunity to collaborate in a more, presentation setting where there's an offer of information that is delivering to the audience, and then have an engagement from the audience, whether that's the local community or a mini conference that we set up to be held here at our facility. When we're not using the presentation stage, we want to have these tech hub rollout spaces to where a company can come in and rent one of these areas and bring in their platforms and be able to either check out their hardware or develop their hardware even further. This is an opportunity for them to utilize the space in a way that benefits, the advancement of their product or service. We want to provide innovation labs, and these innovation labs are unique in that they're essentially conference rooms as you see them here, but we want to introduce topics in those conference rooms, topics that really affect the space industry, that affect the commercial aspect of the space industry. Things like, how do I become a space company in the United States? We're getting a lot of interest from international companies, and they want to do business here. So we introduce a topic and have, legal firms come in, have maybe NASA come in, or have Barrios come in who's used to contracting, have discussions like that help these companies promote themselves or develop themselves in this ecosystem, in this American ecosystem. Or we can have technical discussions like, how are you going to get around the issues of lunar regolith, designing against that with spacesuits or against hardware that, the lunar dust gets in all the joints of all the lunar platforms. So we've talked to several companies and several organizations that are involved in this arena. One of them is UT El Paso, who is building a curriculum for lunar mining. We want to bring them into the fold and have them discuss what they can do to help with that challenge. Of course, Collins and Axiom are building spacesuits. We want them to be part of the discussion because they're bringing in the actual issue or the problem they're trying to solve. We have a company, we talked to a company in San Antonio who's building lunar bricks. And I'm sure they've learned a lot about how to work with lunar dust, have them be part of the discussion. And another company we met at CAS, one of those conferences that are not space based. It was an Australian company that's building rovers for mining in Australia. They're not lunar rovers, but they're addressing power, they're addressing lightweight, they're addressing dust, they're addressing automation when they go down into deep caves. A lot of the things that NASA is addressing as well. So we want to bring all these different companies, organizations that are talking the same issues, right? That are addressing the same issues, and have them talk together in this innovation lab to offer solutions. And of course, we want to have tenant office spaces. These are the ones that companies can come in and actually reside in our facility. Like I mentioned earlier, the international companies are the ones that are showing a lot of interest in coming and set up shop here. Our goal is to have them be in this facility, grow their business, essentially, incubate their idea, grow their business, and then transfer them out of our facility into one of the manufacturing centers that are going to be built here in our area. Like I said, we have 440 acres of land that we got to build out. And so we want to bring companies into these offices, grow them and develop them, and then, migrate them out of our facility into, any of those bigger fabrication houses, manufacturing facilities that will be built here in the area. We want to have an innovation hallway. This is more of a digital way of displaying a company's services and products and services. We want this to be interactive, though. We want it to be more of a touch screen or even a 3D, experience, to where our member companies can showcase their products in a way that allows for more collaboration between the companies that are there. Not just advertisement space, but an actual interactive space for our companies to collaborate with each other. These locker areas are the areas I mentioned earlier. A lot of our potential members are saying we want a secure space to be able to house our products and our services, our hardware. So if you can offer that and we don't have to lug things around, that would be of great benefit to them, and that's an area we want to provide for them. Storage areas and then the bathroom areas are, areas obviously are needed in every facility, but that's pretty much a summary of the facility and what it entails. So within this facility, these are the assets we want to provide, but we also want to do events. And on the next charts, we can go over the events and then open up opportunity for you all to ask some additional questions as well. Some of the events we want to have there is an innovation showdown. As I mentioned earlier, some of these companies are coming in, have innovative ideas, and we want either to have these companies display their ideas to our anchor members, the Axioms, the NASAs, the Barrios, those companies that are going to be the ones that drive and provide leadership for commercialization. We want to have a healthy competition between these companies. Sometimes it may be the other way around. Axiom may bring us an issue and say, hey, we need some companies that address this issue. So we may have 2 or 3 companies that are addressing the issues and then have presentations from those companies to Axiom. That's another way to engage in an innovation showdown. One more. We want to have partner presentations. These are presentations from our members to make sure that they are providing what is going on within their facilities, what issues are they encountering, so that we can address those as well. We want to have a summer STEM program. We don't want to replicate anything that NASA is doing or that the University of Houston, not the University of Houston, the University of Houston, but Space Center Houston is doing either. We want to work with them to make sure we supplement any of the STEM programs that they have. This Commerce Birds of a Feather Inside Chats, we want to have discussions about things that affect the industry that are common throughout. So one of these are orbital debris. As those of you, probably most of you on this call, understand that orbital debris is a big issue in LEO, and if we really are going to have a viable space economy, LEO space economy, we're going to have to address all the junk that we put up there and not put any more junk up there. So having these discussions is an opportunity for us to bring that up. Another potential opportunity is spaceports. This is one spaceport where we're developing this. But there are a lot of spaceports that are being developed where we can open up a discussion about what does that collaboration look like. We want to have industry blasts from the SpaceX, the Fireflies, Intuitive Machines, those companies that are providing space access. I think most of you would agree that we don't do the best job of putting our information out there. I think I saw Roger, join in earlier. Roger's one of those people that constantly puts out information out about what's going on in the industry. I think we could be better at that, and having this industry blast to engage other industries especially would be is paramount for what we want to do here at the Innovation Center. International expos, I mentioned earlier, we're getting a lot of international interest. We want to be able to showcase those international endeavors in those international countries, and have international week or international day that showcases a specific region of the world. The College Cosmic Bowl, I'm a big college football fan, so I really want to promote an opportunity to engage the competitive spirit of universities in some type of College Cosmic Bowl competition, where we challenge these universities to go again against each other, and hopefully make it as big as the college football, playoff series and all of that. I can dream, but that's one of the things we want to do. And then community meetings, just engaging our community to be part of our ecosystem, come in and have events, activities, obviously grow our workforce space through that engagement from our community members. And I think that's pretty much wraps up the presentation. Oh yes, we have some industry partners that we just want to flash up here for you all to see. These are prospective partners. We've talked to a lot of these companies from a Stellar Access perspective and engaging them into the ecosystem. A lot of these companies are already part of space, so it's not that difficult to convince them to continue to grow and develop the space commercial ecosystem. We would love to have all these partners or all these prospective companies in our network, in our DISTILL Innovation Center, and we're working to make them part of that of our ecosystem as well. So, and then the last one is our community partners. Our community partners are organizations, educational institutions, my alma mater, people's alma maters from the team. Those partners that'll bring in the ideas, research, and maybe engage future generations to be part of what we're trying to build from a space commercialization standpoint. And now I think that is the presentation. So I appreciate you guys, sitting through this, and if there are any other questions, we can answer them now.
Yes, Sergio, before we answer one question from Pilar, I would like to point out something. Even though everything, as you can see, has been thoroughly thought and designed by our very experienced members of the team, like you and Cesar, with all these configuration spaces and different features that can help the commercial space industries and companies, we are also wanting to know what everyone wants and what everyone needs in terms of innovation. So this is not like something that is set, right? This is something that is evolving as the industry itself.
It is, and so one of the things that we have been doing and we want to continue to do is the Innovation Center is a community asset, right? We proposed an opportunity to run this for the Houston Spaceport based on what we have been doing at Stellar Access over the last 3 years and engaging industry and engaging the community to, develop this commercial space ecosystem. We obviously don't have all the answers right now. We don't have all the solutions right now. We want to continue to engage potential partners. We want this to be a space that is utilized in a way that helps incubate not only ideas and companies, but incubate the space commercial industry, the LEO and the lunar commercial industry, space commercial industries. So, like you said, it's not a static thing. It's a continuously evolving thing. I'm sure that as we put up walls and start inviting our community members, our members of the Innovation Center to set up shop and set up their offices there. We're going to evolve from there as well and realize that what we really need is something else to be able to bring in more ideas, more thought, more inclusivity even of different industries. So yes, we will continue to evolve, and part of what we're doing here with this webinar is getting an opportunity to get those ideas from our audience, from our members today. Have us engage us, personally. Send me an email, send Caesar an email, send any of our team members an email, or sign up with the QR code and sign up for a newsletter. Provide us feedback on what it is that you think an innovation center should be providing. All of those thoughts and ideas, we're collating, we're putting them into a jar or a bucket, and we're using that to develop this great ecosystem that I think is exciting to see, sprouting up all around us.
Yeah, exactly. So please, after you hear all these ideas, go back to your offices, to your homes, and maybe think what else we could be adding to this dynamic space at the Houston Spaceport. So we have a question from Pilar, who wants to know when is the new space expected to open?
Good question. I should have mentioned that as I talk through this. The space is available now. It's 10,000 square feet. It's there now. So what we need to do is put up walls, and put up walls based on the plan that I just presented, and put up walls based on what is needed by the community. We anticipate, through permits and construction and all of that, we really want to open by the beginning of next fiscal year. So by October 1st, we want to be able to have the facility open, ready to house our tenants and our members. I'd love if we could push it into the July, August timeframe, but that's going to be very difficult to do, especially because we're still working through all the legality and the contractual mechanisms to make this happen. But definitely the fall timeframe is when we're targeting.
Great. So this is a perfect time to get involved, to give us some inputs, because together with all these inputs, we could, of course, give a better result when we open. We have another question from Roger, and he wants to know, are you able to share how companies, organizations, and other entities who decide to indulge in this endeavor without giving away company secrets, of course, meaning more the cost structures or vehicles by which customers will pay for their indulging in the facility, example like a tenant lease or a project or others?
Yeah, definitely, Roger. So we are finalizing pricing right now, but essentially there's going to be different ways of providing the access to the Innovation Center to distill to our members. One of them is just straight rental space, right? If you want an office, it'll cost you this much per month or per day or per week. If you want to use an event space, this is how much it'll cost you. So we will have all those posted, and it'll be in line with what innovation centers in the area are offering. Of course, we feel that our location really puts us at a different category than anybody else. It is right there at the Houston Spaceport, but we will definitely have reasonable pricing for our members from that standpoint. And then the other way that that we're going to the other cost mechanism is through membership. And we're going to have different tiers of membership. One is through a new or a newer venture that may want in and be part of our ecosystem. There'll be a level for them. Some more established companies that want to have a more opportunity for engagement or more opportunity to utilize our space is going to be a second tier. And then we're going to have a third tier that is essentially our what I call our anchor membership. Those companies that want to provide leadership, that know, what is needed to develop, not only the space infrastructure, but how to transfer that infrastructure that exists now into a space commercialization ecosystem, the challenges that are, we're facing there, and bring those ideas into the Innovation Center so that we address their issues, we address their challenges, and through that they get the most benefit out of out of their membership.
Perfect. So we have another comment from Ana Guzman, who says that the TMC incubator organization would be a good place to research and chat with, because they do the same for the medical community there in Houston. So that's a very nice input.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great insight, Anna. I think that's another industry that we definitely have been looking to bring into our ecosystem, and maybe even tie to the TMC Innovation Center. So, like I mentioned earlier, part of what we want to do is tie back to other existing resources and not recreate any of that. So we definitely will be looking into how to tie to TMC. We've got companies that do a lot of health, research and health-based activities here in space. So we definitely are going to have that tie with that industry.
Perfect. I think we are good for now. We gave a lot of information. I know our guests have a lot to think about, and maybe come back to us with some other remarks, with some other inputs, ideas, of course, questions. Sergio, I don't know if you want to add anything else.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for participating today and for having those great questions. Part of what we're doing right now, as I mentioned earlier, is getting the information out so that you all can become our advocates or our ambassadors of what we're doing at the Houston Spaceport, and get this out to your networks. Get this out to your on your social media platforms, to your friends, even beyond our walls here in Houston, or beyond our borders here in Houston. Get it out to any companies outside of Texas, outside of Houston, outside of Texas, even outside of the United States, and get them engaged in what we're doing here so that we can really gather all that information and provide a truly, forward-thinking commercial space infrastructure, develop that infrastructure so that we can have an innovative, a DISTILL Innovation Center that addresses all the challenges that are to come for us. So appreciate everybody's time and questions. And thank you, Ana Cristina, for moderating. We look forward to the next, I look forward to providing more information to you also. Back to you, Ana Cristina.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Sergio. This was a very interesting and stimulating chat about DISTILL. And before you leave, please let me invite you to follow us, to subscribe to our newsletter, and to follow, because we're going to have these kinds of webinars and stellar talks, as I like to call them, monthly, with different perspectives and different commercial space actors. So please join us. And we have some other products that we want to present to you. Our next webinar next month is going to be about Certified Stellar. I don't want to reveal a lot about this project because we want you to be here to hear all the details, but we are providing a new method to certify and verify all the space that have been flown, all the objects that have been flown to space. So please subscribe. You can scan the QR code and receive all our news and opportunities to collaborate with us and to join the stellar community. I hope to see you here soon again.